Welcome to RAM Live. Join our product marketing manager, Rick Phillips, as he showcases the latest and greatest that RAM mounts and GDS tech have to offer. Now let's get started.
Hello everyone and welcome to RAM Live. Today we're going to be talking about the form-fit holders that we make for Apple iPads and all the different iPad models. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about all the different cool features and benefits, including some hidden features and benefits that you may not have heard of before. And also joining us via audio is our moderator and marketing coordinator, Sarah Lettingham. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for today's episode. And so, yeah, there's a lot to talk about today, but Sarah will be moderating in the YouTube live stream chats, so be sure to post your questions and comments on there, and we'll be following up with those in real time in today's video. Or if you're joining us in the replay, be sure to post your questions and comments there, and we'll be following up there as well. If you do like this video, we ask that you hit like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're signed up for notifications so that you can see all the future videos that we put up. We'll be making many videos like these, talking about all the different types of RAM products, GDS products, different types of topics, hidden features and benefits, some cool, unique use cases that I personally like to get into most, but most importantly, answering your questions and getting you the information that you need to know. So with that aside, we'll get right into it for today's episode for the form-fit holders for Apple iPads. Now, these are all under a specific product line name that I'll be putting on screen here. It's called the RAM Easy Roller. The way this works, this is integrated in all iPad holders, is an independent roller that's built into the top of the designer, if you can see on there. But this roller rolls independently at the top of the holder, and what that allows you to do is to roll the iPad into the holder to lock it in place properly. So it makes for a nice smooth motion, goes in and out very easily, but at the same time is incredibly durable and rugged with high strength composite materials, and is suited for any heavy duty rugged environment. Now, one thing about these holders is that it will support any iPad without any kind of a case or sleeve on it. So that may require someone to go with one of our universal holders if they do have a case or sleeve, such as an OtterBox or LifeProof case, in which case we do have some universal options. We have the RAM Tab Tight spring-loaded holder and also a locking tab lock version available. And there's also the RAM X-Grip system. So these are great alternatives if your iPad does have a case or sleeve on them. However, they are a little more on the bulky side, and that's simply because they are universal to accommodate different types of tablets out there. So they do have a little more bulk to them, and they do have a little bit of a higher price point. So that's a really great thing about the form-fit holders. Whenever it is compatible with your device, I always recommend going with the form-fit because it's a much better price point, but it's still incredibly rugged and has a very nice, clean form factor to it. So whenever possible, I always do recommend that. So these are compatible with pretty much any iPad that's out there. So here I have one that's for the iPad Mini 4 and 5. We will be coming out with one for the iPad Mini 6. It has slightly different dimensions, so that one is in the works at the moment. In fact, on our website, rammount.com, you will be seeing a launch of the iPad Mini 6 coming out soon. We do also accommodate the iPad. This is the 7th and 8th gen. I believe this will support the 9th gen, but it is not yet confirmed. They are, I believe, the same dimensions, so there's a very good chance that it will work, but we'll be giving updates on that in the near future on our website as well. But it will support the 7th and 8th gen that we have currently, and also the iPad Pro 11-inch and iPad Pro 12.9 we have back here. There's only one model currently that we do not have a form-fit holder for, and that is the iPad Pro 12.9 5th gen. Now, we do have other holders to choose from. We do have the X-Grip holder is a great universal holder option for supporting the 12.9. So there are other options available. We just don't have a form fit for that 5th gen at this time. Everything else, though, we do have the form factor that's available to it. So now what I'll show you here is a great use case or an example of how the device goes in and out of the holder, just to kind of get an idea here. So this is a 7th gen that I'm holding right now. I'll take the pencil out here. So the way this goes in, it basically drops right in like this. And then as you can see from the side here, it just rolls right in place very easily, nice and secure. So really easy to go in and out. And I'm going to take this out of the double ball mount here. As you can see, you have access to the camera as well as the port, microphone, the buttons on the side. So everything remains accessible while inside of the holder. And there are also two little receiver points on the side of the holder that will allow you to hold the Apple Pencil, so you can keep everything there mounted next to it at the same time. In fact, I have another one I'll show in a minute, but we have the tab on top of the holder that is offset to account for the microphone, whenever the microphone is positioned in the top center of the iPad as well. So everything is meant to be well exposed and accessible while in the holder. And next, what I want to show, and so I had this on a double ball and socket mounting system on here. As you can see on the back, I have the B-size 1-inch rubber ball. So actually what I'll show here first, here's an example of a holder without a ball connected to it. So as you can see, there are two different variations of the 4-hole amps hole pattern. So this is a universal standard amps hole pattern that will connect to any RAM ball and socket mounting system, and this is what allows you to mount your iPad virtually anywhere. So in this example, we have the 1-inch B-size ball connected to the back. And so with the ball and socket system, you can connect to any RAM ball and socket components. As you can see here, with the turn of a knob, you can configure this to the perfect angle and position. You could even tilt it between portrait and landscape mode. And then there are hundreds of different ball bases to choose from. So whether you're drilling into a flat surface, clamping it onto a rail, we have magnetic bases to choose from, suction cup bases to choose from, track mounts. So really just kind of any type of a mounting surface. With our mounts, we typically say you can mount anything anywhere with our components, and so that applies to the full range of iPad holders. And depending on the environment, you may require the larger C-size 1.5-inch ball if it's going to be more of a rough environment, but otherwise the B-size ball will work for most applications. One thing I'll show you here is the fact that you have the B-size ball in the back, but as you can see, there are also two other patterns on here. So you can mount this ball in a couple of different places. So some of these have 3 and others will have 2. The purpose of having these offset is to take into account different people may have a need for mounting this in portrait versus landscape mode. So I have this one in the bottom center right here if the iPad is in portrait mode. So by having this in portrait mode, it keeps the iPad centered with the mount. Now, if I wanted to have it offset, I could do that. I could utilize the other side hole pattern if I wanted if I may be articulating the mount from around a corner of some sort, you can achieve that with the offset hole pattern. Or if you have this mounted in landscape mode, you can utilize one of these other hole patterns to keep the mount centered. So it's really just different variations of the 4-hole amps hole pattern to allow you to configure and mount the iPad exactly where you want it. And so with that in mind, I wanted to show a cool little feature, and this is the hidden feature that we refer to that many people may not realize that you can achieve with these holders. Because if you look at the tab tight system, you just have the one hole pattern on the back, so you don't have the ability to offset. But not only does it give you the ability to offset, but it actually gives you the ability to mount a second device from the side of the holder. And that's what I want to show you right now. So I'm going to take, this is the holder for the iPad Pro 11-inch, and it also supports the iPad Air 4. This is the iPad holder that has the tab off to the side, and so it accounts for the microphone, the internal mic that's built into the iPad. Goes in just like that. Now, as you can see, what I have here is the C-size 1.5-inch ball on one side, and then on another hole pattern, I have a smaller B-size 1-inch ball. So this larger ball I'm going to use for going to the mounting base, and then the B-size ball is going to connect to the other device holder. So if I pull this out here, we have a C-size ball and socket mounting system, and I'm going to have it on the C-size 1.5-inch ball right here. In fact, I'll have it in this position, and then tightening down on that side knob will secure it all in place. And then using the extra ball on the back here, I'm going to connect the long B-size double socket arm. So that puts this extra double socket arm right here. And now I'm going to connect a form-fit iPhone holder. So right here, and I may need to shift this to the side a little bit to support that added leverage. So now I have this in place, and now the iPhone holder has its own ball connected to the back. So I simply put it right here. Now with the ball and socket system, I can articulate this to be at any angle that I want. So imagine this is in your vehicle and you have your iPad mounted somewhere towards the center, but a little more on the passenger side. But then you can keep your phone even closer to you, so it's still within the driver's arm length. So it's a great alternative, say in a vehicle where you may want an alternative to mounting to the windshield or dashboard in the vehicle. because as you can see here, everything is coming off of one single mounting point. And so now if I take the iPhone 12 that I have right here, so you have two great form-fit holders, one for your iPad, one for your iPhone. Everything is connected in the same place. So you can use one device for your maps or your GPS, and you can use another for streaming your music or phone calls or anything else that you need to do. Having those multiple devices makes a great difference. Now I have this one offset up a little bit because I still want access to the charging ports, so you can make sure that your charging connectors and everything is still accessible while in the holder. Now while this is on here, another great holder option I want to show you. This is a brand new one that's a little more universal and just came out recently, and it's available on the website, is our MagSafe holder. So I'm going to put this on right now with the MagSafe. So this is a very low cost item here, and it's universal and compatible with any device that will accept the MagSafe. So by putting this in place, I can now connect the MagSafe adapter right here. Goes right in place like that. And so now, instead of using the form-fit holder, I can take the iPhone. It could be the iPhone 12 or iPhone 13. So I believe either of those will work for the MagSafe. And now it's connected to the MagSafe holder. So you have your MagSafe mounted and connected. So just as easily, you can have everything on here. And so the MagSafe is a great option for upgrading your phone. So you don't even need a new holder. As long as it works with the MagSafe, and as long as Apple doesn't change their MagSafe design, then everything will work properly in that adapter. Now I believe that pretty much covers all the main talking points. This is really the one feature that's kind of an underrated feature that isn't really available with any other holders that RAM makes. So the tab tight holder, you have that one in the middle that keeps the iPad nice and centered. Now again, it's more of a price point where technically you can achieve having multiple devices coming off of one point. We have mic plate adapters, accessory adapter plates that can come out, and you can have a second device coming off of there. So you can achieve it, but like what we were saying before, with these universal type options, it does become more of a higher price point. But it's just a really great thing when you are using these form-fit holders that you can achieve that multi-device mounting right on there. So imagine a setup like this. You have the vehicle telepole mounting system, so you can be connected to your keyboard, have your tablet right here, and have your phone right next to it on either side. And what's great about the offset is you can put it in any position. So you can have the phone above the holder if you want, or coming out from any direction really. I believe that was all that I had on here. I know that feature was the big one. Sarah, do you have any input, or am I forgetting anything?
Well, this solution honestly blew my mind. So Rick was talking about this live stream last week with me and talking about the hidden feature, something I never even thought of. There are a few things in my time here that have kind of blown my mind as far as use and, you know, finding new solutions. And this really honestly made me feel like I need this in my house. So I'm in a rental, and when I'm in my kitchen, I love watching something, listening to music, FaceTiming with a friend or my mom. And because my back is towards my TV when I'm in my kitchen, I really love to watch something. And I would love our track mount system to mount under my cabinet, but because I'm in a rental, I have often taken my suction cup mount, because it's a non-porous surface, it perfectly attaches to underneath my kitchen cabinets, and I will either FaceTime someone, pull up a recipe while I'm baking or cooking, or just listen to music, something so that I don't have to touch my phone and it's hands-free, because germs, all that good stuff doesn't go well when you're cooking. So being able to mount my iPad mini and have the extra arm come off the side so that I can either have something playing, streaming on my iPad while I have my recipe pulled up on my phone next to it, or vice versa, having my recipe pulled up while also FaceTiming someone. So there's always two different scenarios that I want on different devices, but you know, hands-free, you don't want to be switching back and forth, and if you're FaceTiming, sometimes you just, you know, need everything to be hands-free. So I told Rick today that I need him to help me with placing my order and discovering or figuring out which parts I exactly need for setting this up. So this is something I'm super excited about setting up in my kitchen and making everything much easier for when I'm cooking and stuff.
Absolutely. And Sarah, you had mentioned that just a few minutes before we even started the episode, and we happen to have the parts on hand to pretty much achieve what you were looking to do. What iPad is it that you use?
It's an iPad Mini 4.
iPad Mini 4. Okay, so that is this one right here. So I forgot if this one's the 4 or the 5. But this holder supports both the 4 and the 5, so it's universal between them. And your iPad doesn't have a case, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so this would fit perfectly in the form-fit holder then. And as you can see, in fact, I'll show the back view here, you have that, you have the second set of hole patterns, just like all the other iPad holders, so you can connect that second device to be your phone coming off of the side. And so I'll kind of try to recreate this a little bit to a certain extent. Do you use the iPad in portrait or landscape?
It depends. So if I'm streaming something like on Netflix or whatever, I prefer to have it in landscape mode. Okay. But if I am looking at a recipe, I want as much information on my screen as possible, so I have it in portrait.
Right, sometimes rotate it.
Yeah.
So you could achieve that basically with the ball and socket. All you have to do is loosen the knob.
Absolutely.
And you can rotate it a little bit if you need. Or you can have accessories that allow you to rotate it without loosening the ball and socket mount. So you can always go a little bit further with that ease of use if you like. But I believe you had mentioned a suction cup, using a suction cup instead of track mounting because
yes.
you couldn't drill into
I'm
the
in
cabinets.
a rental, so I just want to avoid drilling in to my cabinets, and the suction cup works perfectly for lightweight devices, just, from my cabinet.
So there are two ways to achieve it, and I'll show both really quick. One is with the suction cup, as you said, and I have another plate here. Basically, so we have our suction cups that work perfectly against any non-porous surface. However, if it's a cabinet, there's a good chance it's made of wood. There could be, cracks or whatever. So we do have this adapter plate that's a 3.5-inch diameter plate that comes with a double-sided adhesive. So this plate, when you adhere it to the surface and let it bond over time, the surface offers that non-porous material that the suction cup will lock up against perfectly. So imagine using the double-sided adhesive. Let's just say this is the bottom of the cabinet that you have. So you can use the adhesive underneath just like that. And then, see, I'll loosen the suction here. So your plate would be adhered under the cabinet. So when you're not using it, you can transfer one place to another. And then you just interlock the suction cup right onto there. And then with that, you would use either the medium or long double socket arm. I'll take the long off of this one. So you'd have something like this. So you have your suction cup mount with the long arm, and then you would most likely use the center hole pattern that would keep this in landscape mode, and you'd probably rotate it so that it's higher up. And so you'd have it basically like this connected. So you have it just like that here. And then you would use that second ball that's on the side for connecting. I have another arm here. So you could put your phone right there, right alongside. And so you have that exact setup there. Now, if you were to rotate this from landscape to portrait mode, it could offset the phone this way. But then, again, because it is on a ball and socket system, you can articulate. And you may need the longer arm. This one doesn't quite come out enough where the holder kind of gets in the way of the iPad holder a little bit. So if you are doing this, what I've found is the long double socket arm truly works the best. In fact, I'll do this right now. If I clamp onto the ball here, that puts it about right there. And that gives you some flexibility to rotate up and down as well. So you have that flexibility both in portrait or in landscape mode, and then rotating the phone as needed. So it's really just that ball and socket system that really lets you put it at the exact angle, and by having multiple devices coming off of one point is great. The other one I wanted to mention really quick, I personally prefer using magnetic mounts instead of suction cup. The suction cup works really well. I'm not as big of a fan of applying and removing the suction cup frequently, so twisting that knob on and off. I personally like using the magnetic solution, which I believe we have here. We have a few different magnetic bases to choose from. This one is called the Tough Mag. So this is an incredibly strong magnetic base. It has, I believe, this one has 6 small internal magnets built into it. And then we offer a steel adhesive plate. So you can actually stick it a steel plate underneath, and then the magnetic base would lock up underneath, and you can have the exact same system come out. I like using the magnetic system because you can take the whole system and just with some pressure you can pull it off of one place and mount it to another place. And so anywhere where you happen to have any steel surface or anywhere that you're using a steel adhesive disc, you can stick the magnetic mount from one place to another. So different ways to achieve it depending on personal preferences, but that's really what's great with all these components. There's typically many ways to achieve it. It's a matter of which one you prefer the most. And so Sarah, I'll follow up with the parts that you would like for your setup.
Yeah, I love it. I'm already so excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to everyone who has been in our chat. Thank you so much. I see a couple of returning faces. Trucker Bailey, if you're still here, and Nico. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And Julie is here, and she has a question for us.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I see it on there. Can you read that off, Sarah?
Yes, so we're waiting to see what devices she's looking to mount in her RV. So Julie, if you are here, let us know whether you need your phone, an iPad, a different type of tablet, or both.
Okay, so yeah, I see Ford E450 2007. Okay, so that's the, I'm guessing that's the RV. What I would recommend for RV mounting is a track system. I don't have the exact track system on here. I can give you a part number, Sarah, to put in. RAM-track-EXA. In fact, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'll jump on our website here. I have a way to pull up our website. So I'm on the website right now, rammount.com. I guess it would be good putting it in the chat as well, just so there's a reference. RAM-track-EXA. So these are our extruded aluminum track systems. So what's really great about using a track system like this is that there are no sharp edges. They create a nice low profile and secure mounting point so that you can insert track mounts in and out of the system really easily. And so we have a track ball. In fact, if I click on one of these pages, this is our 9-inch modular aluminum track. You can see how the ball goes inside. We offset the hardware so that it does not interfere with the T-bolt that goes in. And so you simply drop the ball in and slide it and then twist clockwise to tighten. So some RV brands such as Winnebago are actually integrating these modular track systems into their vehicles, which is awesome. But they're truly universal. Any kind of flat surface that you can drill into, you can achieve a track mounting system like this. And then for any of these track mount pages in the Expand Your RAM section, you can see the different types of track bases that we have. If you're looking to put a B-size 1-inch ball or a C-size 1.5-inch ball, many different options to choose from, a lot of complete kits to choose from. And I believe Sarah put in the chat, it does depend on what devices that you're looking to mount. If we are talking about Apple devices, the link is in the description for this video. Go back on video here. The link is in the description for today's video that will take you to a page on our website that lets you select the exact make and model of your iPad. And our website will generate the proper holder that will fit for that device. It could be one of the form fit holders that we've been talking about today. It may be one of the universal holders. It depends on if it has a case or sleeve on it. Another great resource that there's a link to the description on today's video is the mount builder. And so you can see a graphic on here to see what this looks like. Basically, we have a mount builder tool where you can select pretty much whatever you're mounting and where you're mounting it, and we will generate the proper components that will mount it to where it needs to be. But I hope that answers Julie's question to a certain extent. As far as for RV mounting, I would recommend a track system such as that. But that's a great way to really just mount any kind of a phone or tablet. And then from there you determine other mounting points. So yeah, was there anything else or anything?
We did just get a chat from Anthony. Thank you for being here and being in the chat. If any of y'all are watching right now, please give us a quick hello, say where you're watching from, tell us your favorite RAM mount that you use in your day-to-day. But thank you, Anthony, for saying that RAM has always provided a solution. We love to say that with RAM, you can mount virtually anything, anywhere. Hey, Leslie from Vero Beach, thank you for being here too.
Excellent.
Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, great having you guys with us. And yeah, to Anthony's point, that's a great point that, you know, people will ask like, hey, do you make something for this and something for this? I pretty much immediately say yes. And then from there, we try to take the next steps is what's the best way to achieve it. That's kind of the point if we're doing a series like this is we want to dive deep into specific product lines like these to give some idea of how you might want to achieve a certain type of mounting solution. Because a lot of people are looking to mount both a phone and a tablet in a vehicle, and what's the best way to do that? If you're using an iPad, if you're not using a case with the iPad, this would be number one, the best way to do it with some sort of a telepull system like this. So different ways to achieve the kind of ideal solution. It can be pretty overwhelming if you were to go on rammount.com. There are so many different types of categories. We serve so many different industries. There are a lot of different ways of achieving the same mounting system, and understanding the components can be somewhat overwhelming. And so having a series like this where we can talk about specific products hopefully will help give people a better idea. And also it's our chance to answer questions like these in real time. And if anyone ever has any suggestions for a topic they would like us to expand on, or to address any complex topics that can involve our mount, so we'll be happy to dive into those. But I believe that is going to wrap it up for today's episode, unless, Sarah, did you have anything else for us today?
Not today. I just want to say thank you all for being here, hanging out with us, and hopefully we'll see you all next Monday for another live stream.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you did like this video, again, I would ask that you would hit like, share, and subscribe, and make sure that you are signed up for the future videos, because we'll be doing a lot more of these. But otherwise, yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.